You are listening to an Atomic Broadcasting production, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the feature presentation. And remember, do your part, such as like, comment, rate, and don't forget to tell a friend to tune in for an Atomic Time.
Hey everybody, it's Jenkins here. I have a quick announcement for you before we get into today's episode. We are dropping a new canon side adventure. It's about 3 episodes long. We really hope you enjoy it. It's starring Stephen Harrell and Nolan, of course, both wonderful friends of the show, myself, and then Jordy as our game master. It's going to be dropping here on November 20th, so pretty soon, this coming Wednesday. It's taking place in the same sort of world and setting and time frame as The Written and the Lost, so if you're interested in that, please go check it out. You can find it on our Patreon. Yeah, so double announcement, we do have a Patreon. If you're interested in listening to that side adventure, go ahead and check that out. More information, of course, will be there, and you can find information on how to get to the Patreon in the description below. Again, that is going to drop on November 20th. We hope you enjoy, and we hope you have an atomic time.
Now, where did we leave off? Ah, yes. At Val's request, the party sought an audience with Brengyr in the Wolfskin Warriors' camp. As he refused to listen to their requests, Val invoked her gods and his, challenging him to a one-on-one duel to the death.
Okay, story time.
Okay.
So my children, who are dogs, are
Thank you for
very
clarifying.
entertaining.
If you want to see pictures of them every now and again, join our Discord.
Yeah. Anyway, so yesterday I was getting ready for work, as you do, and I was sitting on my computer. Amelia was in my roommate's room chewing on a Nylabone. Sam, you're distracted.
Oh, I'm sorry. Apologies.
Chewing on a Nylabone, having a great time. And she's a little resource guardie, and Riker knows this, so he doesn't try to steal her toys anymore if she's chewing on them. He wanted it. He came down the hall and looked at her, and he turned around, went into the living room, and barked.
Okay.
None of the other dogs started barking that live in the house. Amelia stopped chewing on the toy, ran into the living room, and here comes Riker trotting down the hall, goes and steals the toy and goes into my room and starts chewing on it. And then Mia comes back down the hall after probably looking out the window like, hey, there's nothing out here. And she goes and looks in my roommate's room and it's like, wait, I know I left something here. And then she comes into my room and sees Riker chewing on the toy. She looks at me like, what the heck? And I'm like, I don't know. He wanted it.
You got outsmarted. Deal with it.
Well, that's basically like when, wait, which one's the elder, Rykard or Mia?
Mia's older.
All right, that's like the younger brother going out and being like, hey, you should come see this for a sec, and then runs away.
That is why Riker is number one.
He is. He is number one.
Number one.
That lived up to the hype. It was great.
Did it?
It did. I loved it.
I had a mental picture, unlike some of us.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was kind of mean.
Wow.
Hey, we're doing
bro.
a duel this episode. This is the episodes for shots being fired.
It's me versus Jordy. It's Sven versus Petite. In the background, Sven and Petite are just going to be fighting. Listen closely. You'll probably hear them.
Yeah, but it'll have to be a mental battle, a mental duel.
Uh-oh.
I hate you.
Wait. Hey, it's okay. Just
Psychic duel, that's what it's called.
Just take the blind fighter feat. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be on my way to go die now. I'll be here until I die.
Wow.
We start with a long shot view from high above the valley. The sun is just beginning to dip down behind the tree line, and we've moved forward from the gray of night, and it's beginning to get dark. We see down in the valley, from our vantage point, a row of torches being carried out of the camp, out around the palisade, and a few of these torches sort of fan out and plant them firmly into the rough sod of the earth, creating a small lit area for this duel to take place. While all of this is happening, Val, you had some last-minute prep to do?
Yes, Val is over kind of close to the others, and she is strapping on the rest of her plate mail, putting it back on for the first time in about a couple of days of travel. Where she had felt that warmth from the sun blessing her glaive, it feels like that's moved away, and instead her feet feel that warmth, and her wings are like a lot more active. That is to signify a mechanical change. Val, while wearing the heavy armor, would normally be at 25 movement speed. She's now at 30 wearing the heavy armor because of the new updated rules for the champion. I now have a blessing of swiftness, and I no longer have my Sunblade ability. She looks to Brengyr, and she says, "The only terms I have here between the two of us for my defeat, if I die, give my companions the opportunity to leave."
Brengyr, who still has his back to you at this point, like he's adjusting straps on his armor and everything, and he just kind of turns his head a little bit to say over his shoulder, "Once your lifeless body hits the ground, your friends will be free to leave, provided they no further meddle with the Eoredson's plans."
My thanks. And she looks to the others, the group. No matter how things go, do not interfere or put yourselves in a position to break that term.
We all nod like, sure, buddy. Or Missy.
The honor of my gods. And she's kind of shaking, and she's kind of shaking out the jitters and nerves. And she's like, all right. Oh, it's okay to not be okay. Let's do this. And she turns around and pulls out her glaive, and her shield pops out of her prosthetic.
Brengyr, still with his back to you, like sighs and looks up to the moon. "Have you made peace with your gods?"
I am ever their servant, and their will be done.
And in one fluid motion, he draws both swords and whirls around. "Then let us clash!" And we are going to begin a duel. So, anybody who's been watching through the rest of the show, they'll be familiar with how duels work. Every round, we're both going to re-roll initiative, and we can change what skill we're rolling, and that will give us a different reaction that we could use mid-combat to push things to our advantage. The 3 skills that we can choose between are Perception, Deception, and Intimidation. It's sort of like rock, paper, scissors, in that each one you roll gives you an advantage against one, but puts you at a vulnerability to another.
So, is it just going to be Val and Brengyr in the initiative? Because a card that I want to play is bound by when it's my turn. I have to play it on my turn.
So the way I'm doing the duel is it's just the 2 of them in initiative until somebody breaks it, and then it's actual normal combat. So I'm going to go ahead and roll initiative for a skill.
What one should I use? See, now here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's going to use Intimidation. The counter to that would be Deception, but my Deception is only a +3, so I would definitely be going second.
What?
But he'd get a penalty to his second attack.
I know in psychic duels, each one gives like an extra bonus. What are the bonuses for each?
No bonuses in regular duels. It just puts you in that stance, which gives you
A reaction.
a reaction, but it also makes you vulnerable to its counter.
I think I'm going to use... Yeah, okay. I rolled Deception for a total of 4. There's a
Alright.
1 on the die for initiative. The second time that die's rolled a 1
That
in the
bodes
last 2 episodes.
great.
So Brengyr will be going first. With his 2 swords now drawn, he charges across the distance separating the 2 of you, and then slashes out at you with both of the swords.
I will use my sidestep reaction. He has to roll twice,
Ooh.
and he takes the lower. If he used intimidation, his second strike is made at an additional -2 penalty.
He rolled intimidation.
All right.
So his first swing with his flaming longsword. You said he rolls
Twice and
how
takes the lower.
twice and takes the
-2?
lower. Nice. So that means he doesn't get a nat 20.
Okay.
Instead, he rolls a 29.
That does hit me.
All right, so that is 27 slashing damage.
All right. And because I have armor specialization, I have resistance to slashing +1 plus the armor potency rune, which is a +1 at this level. So I have 2 resistance. So what was the damage you'd say?
27 slashing.
So instead I take 25.
And then 2 cold damage. Or sorry, I said he was swinging his flaming longsword first,
You
didn't I?
did.
So 2 fire damage.
2 fire damage. Cool. Awesome.
All right. So then he's going to swing with his left hand with his cold longsword, and he gets a 30.
That's a hit.
All right. And for damage on that, it's 18 slashing damage,
Which is reduced to 16.
Mhm. and then 5 cold damage.
So, if you remember, I have Nephilim resistance cold. I have resistance 5 to cold. How much was it?
Exactly 5.
So I take no cold damage.
Nice.
So that cold kind of comes off the sword and like absorbs into her veins.
All right. And that was his turn. He strode up and then slashed with both swords.
I gotta play things a little safe here. I am gonna use my first action. I'm gonna raise shield, which gives me a +2 AC bonus. Then I am going to cast Lay on Hands.
And does that have the manipulate trait?
It is somatic, which I believe is a manipulate.
Yeah. So as you're casting Lay on Hands, he is going to swing his flaming sword again.
Cool.
All right. Speaking of cards, who has the critical fumbles?
Oh,
I do.
oh my gosh.
Oh.
Abby, look at you go.
Everyone is just on the sidelines, just on the edge of their seat. and
Jenkins,
then-
I'm going to take another sour gummy.
Yeah, Phil, go ahead. Go ahead.
You
You deserve them.
Gummy.
What's it say?
Too much stuff. You get tangled in your gear and are encumbered until you spend 2 interact actions to free yourself.
What does that do?
Does that even make sense?
I think we can make this work. He's clumsy 1 and takes a 10-foot penalty to all his speeds.
Okay, that's not bad. And he's that until he takes an action to fix it.
Spends 2 actions to fix
Oh.
it. So I think what that looks like is he goes to swing his flaming sword again as Val is moving to use Lay on Hands, but this time he's trying to avoid her shield, and it just catches on the scabbard because he's wearing the 2 scabbards. He didn't drop them, and he's just kind of tangled up in that. So he misses that strike, and he's all tangled now.
That means I heal 24 hit points. I get a +2
Nice.
status bonus to AC, which means my AC is 32 right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to swing out with my glaive, I believe, and hope it works out. It's pretty good. 31.
That is a hit.
Awesome. 14 points of slashing damage.
All right, and he takes it.
And that is Val's turn. So she's raised her shield, did some healing, and then slashed out.
All right. And that is the end of the first round. So now we can both roll initiative again and choose different skills if we feel that appropriate.
I got 10.
All right. So it's Brengyr's turn now, and he's already up in your face. So he's going to come down at you with his flaming sword again.
Okay.
A 33 to hit.
Oh, come on.
Dude.
That's one above, man.
That's a hit.
And that is 26 slashing damage.
Oh my gosh.
26?
It's like this turn was specifically designed to take away everything he just did.
Which is reduced to 24 damage.
Mm-hmm. And then 4 fire damage.
Okay.
And then with his second action, he's going to swing his offhand and use that cold longsword again. Oh, and that is definitely a miss. He got a 19.
Oh,
Ooh.
wonderful. I swear. I bet he has a plus 18 to hit and you rolled a 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or a 17 to hit.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
With his last action, he's actually just going to back up a little bit.
Oh no.
And that's the end of his turn.
How are you looking?
Looking fine, I suppose.
We would know how you're looking, Sam.
So Val is going to raise her shield again and take a step up to where she's now within 10 feet instead of 5 feet to this bad guy. And she's going to slash out and use her her intimidation reaction that she used this time. What did he use for his initiative?
He used perception.
Ah, cool. That's what I thought. So, if I hit him, he becomes frightened 1, but since he used perception, he'll instead become frightened 2.
Nice.
Yeah, so she's going to swing. I'm going to use a hero point because I rolled a 1. Okay, same thing as last time. So 31.
Against his off-guard AC? Yeah, that is still just a hit.
So he's frightened 2, which will help me a lot next turn. 17 points of slashing damage. Slowly but surely, guys.
All right, and he takes that damage.
Oh boy, I'm going to die.
Ah,
I'm barely scratching him every time I hit him.
At the end of round 2 here, Sam, how is Val looking to the onlookers?
She is staying very aggressive, but she's pretty cut up. She's bleeding. She's stumbling a bit, but she's determined. She's lost about half her hit points currently.
All right, so here at the round 3, we'll go ahead and roll initiative for our skills.
A natural 1, so I rolled a 13 totem. I'm using perception this time.
All right, so Brengyr will go first. On his turn, he is just kind of reeling back from how you stepped up into position and just aggressively slashed at him with your glaive, and he kind of looks impressed. And then he sheaths both of his swords. And I'm going to call that as part of the 2 actions to adjust his stuff.
He's actually doing that.
And then with his final action, he's going to reach up to his hood and pull it down over his face.
Oh no.
And as he's doing so, it's getting harder to tell where the distinction between his hood and his face and him all begins and ends as he's entering a rage.
Cool.
And Val, it is your turn.
Oh, great.
Can I try something?
Sure.
Can I try to cast without getting caught Implement of Destruction?
So that was the spell you'd mentioned to me in the break,
Yeah.
where you're calling out and the casting of the spell is you saying something, right?
Yeah, so it's basically me yelling at Brengyr that Val's weapon will kill him. And he will need to make a will save, and if he fails or succeeds, Val's weapon will deal additional damage every time it hits.
Because of the way that spell is worded, I will let you cast that spell and then attempt a deception check to pass that off as just being encouraging.
Okay. And again, before I do this, just so we have it on record, everyone is, except for Val, is okay with this.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Not okay with this.
Too bad.
No one asked you, Sam.
Yeah. You're about to die. So Alward says something akin to the fact that he will die by Val's glaive.
Oh, come on.
Does it
Take
have
a
to be in a
second.
language he understands?
I don't think so.
Yeah. I was like, why does he have to understand it?
Honestly, I feel like speaking in a language everybody understands would aid your deception, though. I
Okay.
think it would be harder to pass it off as something innocuous if they're like, what's that magic man yelling?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair. So basically, Alward's going to just shout out, you got this, Val. He will fall by your blade. Come on. And, try to be as encouraging as possible. He needs to make a will save.
Ooh.
You need to make a deception roll.
I do. So what'd he get?
You got a 20.
That is a failure.
Ooh, I like it.
So, regardless of my deception roll, Here's what happens for Val. The target's weapon deals an additional 2d6 persistent mental damage to the target enemy. If the enemy is critically hit by the weapon, the enemy is doomed 1. For as long as it takes this persistent mental damage, this effect lasts for 1 minute.
So 2d6 mental persistence. That's pretty cool.
Just make sure you crit.
I mean, I don't think Doomed is going to do anything for me in this fight. He's spending a
I
hero
rolled a 2.
point.
Is everybody ready for a fight?
No,
What'd you roll?
don't.
I can't fix it.
Why'd you do that?
I got a 13. This is why I asked beforehand. So I failed all around. I would have had to get like a 13 on the dice to even be comparable.
That's okay.
I regret nothing.
Einar would have stepped in at some point anyway.
As you are anticipating, Alward, as you are shouting out this encouragement and casting the spell, you get the sense that you might not have been as subtle as you were hoping, and all of Brengyr's men watching the fight on the other side just kind of like start looking skeptical and their hands start drifting towards their weapons. I would like you all to roll initiative.
Could I try and say something first?
Sure.
So when I see that happen, I can feel that he casts the magic. I can see everyone reacting like a fight's going to happen. Can Val yell out very loudly so everyone hears? Be like, Alward, no, dispel this now. This fight must be fair.
I can't dispel it. It's a duration.
Really?
They don't have to. They don't know that.
You're free. Yeah, you're free to shout that out.
What's your deception?
Val, make a diplomacy check. Get a +2 bonus because you have been pretty clear about not wanting help.
29.
And as Val is shouting that out, before Alward even has a chance to do anything, all of the barbarians and everyone, their hands kind of relax a little bit. They're watching more closely now, but they aren't drawing their weapons yet.
Is it possible for me to dismiss it or no?
Unless it says so in the spell, no.
It does not.
However, nobody knows what your spell does. They know that you were attempting to interfere, and Val said stop, and they don't see anything happening.
And if the raging monster is taking mental damage, you probably won't even think about that, hopefully.
You don't know what he did either.
I know he did something.
Yeah? And?
I'll figure it out.
You don't know what he did.
Yeah, he hasn't cast this before, so I'll give you that.
All right, so with that successful Val talking them down, we will stay in the duel initiative, and it is Val's turn.
Okay.
So
Val's
ready to roll again.
She's going to cast Lay on Hands, heal 24 hit points, and get the +2 bonus to AC. And then she is going to use Divine Retribution.
What's that?
It's from her rune. The runes on her glaive. It allows her to do an attack with an additional damage die. And I doubt he's unholy, so it wouldn't. And I rolled initiative with Perception, meaning he is off guard to this attack.
Nice.
And if he used Deception, it's on off guard till the start of my next turn.
He used Intimidation, so
Okay.
just off guard to this attack.
All right, so he's got a -2, and he's frightened 1, so he's a -3 in total.
Mhm.
It's a 33.
That's a critical hit.
Oh yes, all right,
Yes.
that's great. Yeah, because he probably has a penalty for being enraged as well.
So I got excited.
It's deadly D8, so I'll roll an additional D8 of damage.
And your thing procs.
It's just doomed 1.
Okay.
Yeah, 2d6 mental damage, persistent.
My deadly was a 1.
Oh no, that's so deadly.
I know. That's 26 slashing damage +1. Oh wait, I used Divine Retribution. It's an additional damage die.
Ah, yes.
So 39 is the total damage done because it was Divine Retribution.
He's not looking as hot as he was a minute ago.
Yeah, that is the end of Val's turn. She's still got those little balls, little crackles all around her, protecting her as like a shield.
All right. And that takes us to the top of the duel round again. So we each choose what we're going to roll.
I cannot roll very good, but that's better than I rolled before for initiative. That's a 19.
Val, you go first.
I use perception again.
All right.
Val's going to raise her shield, and then she can't use Divine Retribution because he did not hurt me. So I'll use Sense Weakness as I attack, so he's off guard to this attack and still frightened one? Or did that
He hasn't
go
had a
away?
turn yet.
Okay. I don't think a 21's going to hit him. I could use my last hero point. But I wouldn't get to do the cool thing.
You might keep the cool thing.
I mean, I don't want to be able to use the cool thing. It requires him to crit me to use it.
I don't think that's hard for him to crit you.
I'm shocked that he hasn't.
Okay, that's a 21 to hit.
That does not hit.
And then I'll do a second attack.
That's good.
28.
That is a hit.
Wait, hold on. 27.
That is also a hit.
Okay, I forgot.
33's a crit.
I forgot. Forceful is extra damage. I thought it was an additional to hit.
And he isn't off guard against the second attack, though.
Ooh.
So 23 slashing damage. I rolled a 7 and an 8 on the dice.
All right, and he takes that damage.
And that is the end of Val's turn.
All right, and Brengyr, who's been kind of just like letting that rage course through him, and it's been slowing him down while you've gotten those slashes off with your glaive, he just like drops his arms and just lets out like a bestial roar and then just lunges at you. And rather than punching at you or grabbing at you, he almost seems to be using the hood of the wolf as if it were his own maw, and he's just biting at you with a wolf's jaw.
I cannot believe the amount of hit points this guy has.
Barbarians, man.
He's a healthy boy.
That's a 30 to hit.
Okay. That's a hit. That's meets it, beats it.
He didn't have raised shield.
I did have shield. I didn't use lay on hands this turn.
Oh.
That's 23 piercing damage.
23.
With his final action, he's going to, with his jaws just like clenched around your arm, he's going to try to pull you off balance and trip you.
Oh. Is that against Fortitude?
Yes, against your Fortitude DC.
Okay, that's 23.
He got a 31.
Okay. Then I fall prone.
Val, make me a perception check.
15.
Okay, so I think you're being like stunned and you're really focused on the battle and you don't notice what you may have noticed. That is the end of this round. Brengyr's turn is ending. He is no longer frightened.
7 points of mental damage.
7 points of mental damage. And he doesn't seem to notice that.
Okay. I got a 20 on initiative.
Nat 20 or a 20 total?
20 total.
Okay. So Brengyr will go first.
Okay.
And with Val flat on the ground, he's just going to begin just like the wolf maw, just like chomping down on her.
Do I get my reaction back? It's a new round?
Yes.
Okay.
With the first chomp, that's a 23.
That's a miss.
And the second chomp, Jenkins, you had the nat 20s?
If I tell you no, can you change the dice? It's the perfect strike. Triple damage.
So Brengyr chomps down at Val and she like rolls out of the way from the first bite, but then he lashes back faster than she was anticipating and he just bites straight down on her neck. With that nat 20 getting triple damage, that's a total of 75 piercing damage.
That was almost my entire max HP in one hit. At this level, there's nothing I can do. I'm dead.
Raise shield.
I'm dead. I can't. I'm dead.
So Val drops to dying 1.
Brengyr hears a whisper in his ear.
If you really think you're the heir to the throne, you'd take us all on by yourself.
Also 8 points of mental damage. If his turn's over.
He's got 1 action left.
Yep.
Take that by his whisper.
I think with his final action, Brengyr is just going to take Val's glaive, hold it up over his head, and then just like stab it into the dirt next to her. His turn is now over. Any of you may jump into action if you choose, but
8.
Val is currently dying too, having been downed from a critical hit.
8 mental damage.
8 mental damage.
That's going to happen every 6 seconds for 60 seconds or however long it has left.
So how many of us are ready to go into
I'm
battle?
jumping in now.
Yeah, I mean, we have
Are
to.
you kidding me?
Okay, so Neros, you are jumping into action?
Yes.
Is anybody else jumping into action, or are
I'm
they holding?
immediately jumping
I would
into
like
action.
to get in the turn order.
Okay, everyone roll initiative.
I just barely beat what I needed to beat.
All right. Alward,
32.
Zephyr,
17.
Neros,
26.
Einar.
33.
All right. Einar, you are the fastest to react to Val being dropped.
How far away am I?
You're currently about 30 feet away from the two of them.
Yeah.
You could reach Val in a single action or Brengyr in 2 actions.
This is perfect. Alward,
Einar.
Donkey.
you, most of all,
I don't like where this is going already.
are going to notice this. As something seems to warp around Einar.
No. Oh, wait,
as
is this what I think it is?
suddenly dashes forward.
Is he a time warrior? Or whatever those are called?
I think I know what you're doing.
That'd be cool.
As you would recognize it as Ben Time.
I don't know what you're doing. That's sick. Are you a chrono mage?
I don't think he could be a chrono.
Speculation
mage.
afterwards. Let's see what happens.
It's an archetype.
Basically, I can do this once per day. Once my turn begins, I'm quickened to this turn,
You're a chrono mage.
and I can use my extra action to stride.
That's amazing.
So what all of you see is as Val is falling to the ground and Brengyr takes the glaive and is stabbing it into the turf next to her, you simultaneously feel like Einar started running after the glaive hit the turf, but at the same time you feel like he started running before Val even went down.
It's a familiar feeling for me.
I will use a manipulate action to draw my sword because I didn't have it drawn,
Clutch anime moment.
and attack. And this is not non-lethal, this is full.
And are you wanting to just move up to Brengyr, or are you going to try and flank him with your companions?
This is more to interrupt anything he can do to Val.
So you're trying to step between the two of them?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Einar, with that burst of speed, runs up between Val and Einar just as the blade of the glaive is hitting the turf. His sword is already in hand, and you come in for the swing?
Mm-hmm.
All right, give me that strike check. I'm going to call Brengyr off guard to this.
Hey, Jenkins.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Did you get a nat 20?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, heck yeah. Type of damage.
Slashing.
Push the target back 5 feet, which is still sick as you do stand aside.
That actually really fits
It
with
really
what
fits.
just happened.
That's thematic.
What's the critical specialization?
Makes
for
him
this
off
weapon?
guard.
Yeah, it makes him off guard.
Nice.
Yes, it just that until the beginning of your next turn, he's off guard.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
30 points of damage.
All right, so you dash across the battlefield, slash him with your sword, and he goes staggering back 5 feet. There's a huge gash across the front of his armor, and now you can see that he had this wolf skin like worn as a hood. Underneath his armor, it's all fur now. And he's a little bit taller than he was previously. But he is now bloodied.
Val can't hear this, so Einar's just going to whisper, I don't have time for this.
It's funny.
And Alward, it is your turn.
Alward, sort of recognizing what just happened. How does the archer in the tower look like they know what's up?
Yes, they've been watching.
I'm going to amp what's my spell called Vector Screen, and I'm going to put it diagonally to Val.
What does that mean?
So what Vector Screen does is sets up a transparent, rippling screen of telekinetic energy that seizes all small, fast-moving projectiles, such as arrows. So if the archer tries to shoot at Val or anything that goes through that line, that 5-foot cube line, it immediately gets stopped. Anything larger, such as like javelins or anything like that, take a -2 circumstance penalty if they travel through that square. And since I've amped it, if there are any projectiles trapped in it, I can cast telekinetic projectile to fire them at one creature as part of dismissing the spell.
Nice.
So it's a spell that I constantly keep preparing, and then nothing happens for it. And I'm like, it's probably not going to work this time, but it's a good defensive thing. And then I'm going to move, we'll say 15-ish feet by that torch, up closer to the combat. And that will be my turn.
All right, so Alward, you conjure that protective ward to catch projectiles and move a little bit closer. You're about 15 feet away from Einar, 20 feet from Val now.
Actually, put me closer to Einar.
Okay, so like 10 feet from both Val and Einar.
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's Alward's turn. The first of Brengyr's men is now kind of getting up to reacting. He's going to spend 2 actions moving up in between Einar and Brengyr, who's still kind of reeling from that attack. Wow. Sad turn for him. He spends 2 actions getting into position and a 3rd action pulling out his axe. Neros, it's your turn.
How far away am I from Val?
40 feet?
That would take 2 actions, and then I won't have the action economy.
You won't be able to give her a potion, but you could try to stabilize her maybe with a medicine check.
You don't want me rolling medicine.
Okay. It was a thought.
I would do more harm than good by
Understand.
rolling medicine. Okay, in that case, I'm going to use 1 action to get 25 feet closer to her.
All right.
And then my last 2 actions to cast a spell in a 10-foot burst right next to Brengyr.
All right.
I would like a fortitude save.
Would you like to also hit the barbarian who just ran up in front of Einar?
Why the heck not?
All right, so Brengyr gets a 31.
That succeeds. You still
And
take half damage.
his minion gets a 35.
Jeez. So his minion, nothing happens.
It's a good minion.
Minion number 1. Good job.
Hroth strong.
Yeah, his name is Hroth.
Ralph.
Torval and Ragnar are about to go.
All of these pawns have names.
It's like you specifically did that, Jordy.
I hate my dice.
I hate my dice.
Good lord. Brengyr takes 9 sonic damage.
What spell did you cast?
Noise blast. A potential of 2d10.
It's great.
Sonic damage.
Yeah.
Rolled 9.
Oh, wait. He takes half damage, though.
He takes half, so 4.
Oh. I thought you halved it already.
Nope, I forgot to.
All right.
Nothing makes me angrier than trying to save one of my allies that's down.
Hi, it's
I
me again.
hate saving my down
I know that
allies.
sounded bad.
It did.
Abby doesn't like
I
me.
want to
understand.
save him, and I'm
No.
angry that Val is down right now.
I understand what you mean.
I'm so mad.
I knew this
And the
was
fact
gonna
that I
happen,
can't
so-
We
get
all
there
did.
to give her a potion makes
I know,
me even
yeah.
angrier.
As Neros' turn ends, the second of the barbarians, his reaction time catches up with him, and he dashes directly past Einar.
AOO.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do that.
I just love the look on his face. Like, yeah, okay.
He missed out on his last chance to do it when that guy drew his weapon right in front of.
Oh!
Wizards, man.
I'm used to playing a wizard. Okay.
It's okay.
Does a 33 hit?
That's a critical hit.
Nice.
That's
I feel like I'm going to be saying that a lot with Einar in the party.
maybe 32.
So he moves up right next to Einar, and Einar just lashes out with his bastard sword. And now that guy is a little bit more trepidatious about getting into the position he was in. So he's going to, with the last of his movement, just kind of step back a bit and pull out his axe in a safe location.
So now he's like, what, 10 feet away from Einar?
Yeah, so he's 10 feet away from Einar and about 20 feet away from Alward and Neros. No, 15 feet away from Alward and Neros.
Nice.
And then another of the soldiers is moving into position.
It's Ragnar!
He decides to pull his axe before he runs in.
Baylor.
And then he spends the rest of his turn just flanking Einar.
To go and just swipe at Val twice.
And I used my reaction already.
I didn't.
Zephyr, it's your turn.
So I can't get to Vel with the speed that I have, but I would like to go 25 feet. That's my speed. Closer, directly in line to her, like towards her.
So it looks like the most direct route to Val also flanks Ragnar with Einar. So now you and Einar are flanking that last guy who just moved in.
Okay, so question.
Mm-hmm.
How many cards can I play in one turn?
As long as the qualifications work, I don't see why there's any limitation.
Okay, so this card says I can roll to the opposite side of an enemy. Would that qualify to go diagonal through him?
Yeah.
But I need to be within reach of Val.
Well, I mean, you could occupy Val's space because she's down.
And she would definitely be within reach there.
Yes.
I would like to do that.
Okay. So Zephyr darts into motion, and then just like with a quick reversal of positions, somehow he just slides between the barbarian's legs and it ends up right next to Val.
I should say the card that I used is Tumble Past. Play after you end your movement adjacent to a creature that's larger than you, which everybody is. And then I just move to the opposite side of that creature, and it doesn't trigger any reactions based on movement. Hopefully this doesn't qualify as an action because I'm going to spend another card to use Healing Prayer. So I'm going to tumble through the legs, and once I get there, I'm going to stay on my knees, and I'm just going to look up to the sky and say, I don't know which god that Val would prefer, but I pray that she is slightly healed, at least a little bit.
I love that. I love that so much.
I love that.
That's going to be 2d8 plus 16 hit points.
Nice.
The caveat will be as soon as this finishes resolving, one of you has to leave that square because you can't both occupy the square.
I mean,
You'll have to move.
Why does he
do I have to
move?
use the
I'm
movement
laying
for
down.
that?
Yes, you'll have to use a move action.
That does put a damper on things. That's okay, as long as I bring Val back.
And make me a target again.
That is 26. And I will use the shove action to potentially shove her back one. Exactly. There you go. And I will point directly up at Brengyr. And he hears, as a message, in a weird way, whispering in his ear from right in front of his face.
A true leader would give someone mercy, a chance. But you are no leader.
And as this is a message, he can make a response. But you just hear like noises of a rabid animal.
Can you make those noises?
It's actually very good.
That
That
made
was
me very
beautiful.
happy.
Look out, Matt Mercer.
There's a new GM in town.
All right, and that is the end of Zephyr's turn.
That is the end of his turn.
All right, another Viking joins the fray.
Yarhar.
Freya.
Yarhar.
It's her Smash Bros.
Wait, I'm Freya.
A new challenger approaches.
No, she's Freya.
She draws her axe and runs in. Now Einar has enemies on 3 sides and Zephyr right next to him.
At least I'm not flanked on that side.
That is the end of Freya's turn. Brengyr's turn will begin, but as his turn begins, you just hear like the sound of leather snapping as Brengyr just explodes into a mass of fur and muscle.
Lycanthropy, it's great.
No longer appears to be a collected warrior, and instead is a massive white wolf.
Oh, that's very big.
Oh, like the rumors and okay.
Uh-huh.
I don't like that. That's very pretty art.
He's a werewolf of London.
I mean, that makes sense. They're the wolves. They're the wolf people.
And that's where we'll end this episode.
Gosh. Jordy!
All right, so today's hero point goes to Sam for what I think was a pretty interesting duel. Honestly, turned out a little bit better than I was anticipating.
I hated it.
I disagree. Well, thank you for this. I'm going to go I don't know, think about what's going to happen next.
Death.
And we'll see you all in the next episode.
Woohoo.
This has been an Atomic Broadcasting production. Pathfinder, Galarian, and the Lost Omens world setting are copyright of Paizo. More information at paizo.com. Music in the show is from Monument Studios' collection, as well as assorted artists, with some original tracks composed by Jordy Hake. More details in the description. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to share with a friend, and we'll look forward to seeing you again next time.
Abby, fantastic friend.
That's it. We got it.
It's like BFF,
Got it in one.
but better.
Done.